So in other words, What? What? I see. That's enough. Goodbye.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. Yes, indeed. Indeed.
It's all clear now. Goodbye.
second. Okay.
I mean...
Right.
Don't be mean!
What? Well. It's nothing. Hey. And?
I mean... Huh? Let me out of here! You got it all wrong!
It would seem... So then... Honestly. Is that okay? Could it be... That's terrible! Just the worst. What? That's right. What the heck? my feet at all. I'm surprised you...
I'm telling you, it wasn't me!
And you totally can't bend at the waist. Seems like a pretty obvious oversight.
That's not a very nice thing to say. I mean, it's not like I made it. I just got caught up in the moment.
Well, either way. I mean, it seems pretty clear that... Just a second!
But...
Honestly.
what the heck?
Just the worst. That's terrible!
What?
Then perhaps... What the heck?
What the heck? What?
Just the worst.
Wait! Huh? How about that?
So then...
I'm at least 30% right!
Correct.
Please!
What the heck?
Oh, so... Hey.
Just the worst. So... Huh?
Don't be mean!
Just a second.
No way!
the worst.
Please!
What are you saying?
What?
Makoto. It would seem... Why is that? Anyway... Shall we go? Hey. Correct. Hey. Anyway... So then, I knew it. I see. Hey. Whew. So then... That's right. In other words, however, Makoto, because hey. Is that right? So then...
Indeed. That's right. Indeed. Why is that? Hey. So... However... Is that right? So... Hey. So then... Hey. Is that right?
Are you excited? Are you pumped? It's like the bright burst of fireworks. And so, everyone, please make your way to the...
It would seem... Shall we go?
talking.
Okay. Hey!
Let's go.
Please!
What the heck?
What the heck?
Hey,
That's right.
hey,
Let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. So, your votes will determine the result. If you can figure out who done it, then only they will receive, and I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and the one that deceived everyone else will graduate. Now then, to begin with...
We already know who did it.
Was that?
It was Hiro. He does not have an alibi for when the murders took place, and we found him in that suit. Don't try and deny it. You killed them.
I didn't! Someone knocked me out! I was asleep the whole time! I don't know anything about it!
Shut your murdering mouth, murderer!
Who are you calling a murderer?
I am sorry to say, Hiro, but we do have blueprint for the suit. Parts we assume were used to build it, and all of it was found in your room. You have to admit, the evidence is quite compelling. It points to you as having created the suit and wearing it while committing crime after crime.
How many times do I have to tell you? I don't know!
Everything we found in your room. The blueprint, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you are the culprit.
I don't know anything about that stuff! It's not true! It's a conspiracy!
Hiro, why? Why did you kill them?
No! Just hold on a second!
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are all proof enough that you are the culprit.
I don't know anything about that stuff! It's not true! It's a conspiracy!
Hiro, why? Why did you kill them?
No! Just hold on a second!
Everything we found in your room. The blueprints, the suit parts, they are...
No! Wrong! Are we sure Hiro really made those blueprints?
What do you mean?
Well, take a look at this. It's the note that Hiro wrote, asking the handwriting's obviously different when you compare it to the blueprints.
There's no way you could think the same person made both of them.
Unless that person made it a point to disguise their handwriting.
No, the differences are bigger than that, I think.
Come on! I'm not smart enough to think of trying to change my handwriting anyway.
So Makoto, are you saying you don't think Hiro's...
And he's not the only one. I think Hiro's innocent.
Then who was in that robo-job? Is it like Hiro said? Was there really someone running around in a second...
The suspicious individual hidden within the suit. Go ahead, Makoto.
Say? Who...
I got it! Other than Hiro, I can't think of anyone else. Obviously, he was the one in that particular suit.
Then there can be no doubt.
That doesn't make any sense! You just said Hiro didn't do it!
It makes perfect sense. Hiro was the suspicious individual in the suit, but he's not the culprit.
So what you're saying is...
That's right. The culprit in this case has nothing to do with being in the Robo-Justice suit.
What? Now that's a bold assumption! And what reason do you have to make such a statement? You do have a reason, yes?
Of course. But before we get to that, there's something else we need to clarify first. So let's get that out of the way.
Hey, stop trying to boss us around!
All things have a proper order.
So what is it?
We must clarify the method of transportation for Taka's lifeless body. It would seem that his corpse was moved using certain... Makoto, can you tell us what they were?
I got it! I got it! They were a dolly and a tarp, right? So, let's see if I can explain. Taka's body disappeared from the equipment room. And then we rediscovered it in the repository. And when we found it for the second time, it was the same tarp that, up until then, was stored in the equipment room. So the killer must have seen it there, and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body. That way, they wouldn't leave any bloodstains while they were moving it.
Okay, that explains the tarp. And the dolly?
Same thing. I'm sure the dolly was in the equipment room when we first found Taka's body there. But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly. Later, when Taka's body reappeared in the so did the dolly.
In other words, you think they used the dolly to move the... But are you sure you are not mistaken? Huh? Are you absolutely positive the dolly was in the equipment room when we found that dolly was made specifically for moving large objects between the repository and the art room? It would be very strange indeed to discover it had made its way to the equipment room. Is it not possible that it was in the repository all along, and you simply didn't realize it?
She's raised an objection. How do you respond?
There is no shame in being wrong. Nobody. We have all accepted the fact that you rarely understand what is going on around you. You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Do your worst. You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Do your worst. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree.
This should prove it.
If you're asking for proof that the dolly moved, I have it right here. When I found the dolly in the repository, there was a pool of blood in the equipment room. The killer probably rolled the dolly through the blood on accident as they wheeled the body out of the room. And as the blood dried on the tire, so there's my proof that the dolly was used to move Taka's body.
Well, anyway, that was just something we...
Yeah, the subject of how Robo-Justice didn't do it. What kind of robot is it?
I'm not sure that really matters.
I'd be happy to explain why the occupant of the suit couldn't possibly be the killer. If you look back on how the body was transported, it will become immediately obvious. As we know, Taka was killed in the equipment room. And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp, then loaded it onto the dolly and wheeled it off, right?
Now, keep in mind that the dolly doesn't have a handle.
Well, yeah, but even without a handle, all you'd have to do is bend over. Then you could push the dolly no problem. So the killer just crouched down and carted the body off to the repository.
If you accept everything then you must realize that whoever was
Sorry, I don't think I realize anything.
As we know, Taka was and from there, the body...
Yeah, the then loaded it on...
Now, keep in mind that...
Well, yeah, but even without a hand, all you'd have to do is bend over.
No, it's wrong. You're absolutely right that you could push a dolly without a handle if you... But if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could actually get into a position like that?
What do you mean?
Think back to what you said when we were all... When you're in that suit, not only can you not see your feet, am I right about that?
Now that you mention...
It seems like it'd be awfully hard to push that dolly if you couldn't bend over.
Well, what's to stop you from simply pushing the dolly with your feet?
When you can't even see your feet? You really think someone could kick the dolly all that way?
Yeah, it'd be totally impossible. Not that I can say for sure.
On top of that, if you were wearing such a rigid, cumbersome suit, it's very unlikely you would have the dexterity to go about wrapping the body in a tarp.
don't think taking off the suit was an option.
That's true. It seems impossible to put the suit on or take it off without help.
Then, you really can't take it off by yourself?
Of course I wasn't making it.
If he could have gotten it off by himself, I don't think he would have let us see him wearing it. Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect him.
Yeah, that's right.
So, it's really, really true that Robo Justice couldn't have...
To be clear, whoever did move the body...
No, wait. Just a second, if you please. Have you forgotten about the picture that I took? You all got a good look at it, did you not? The image of Hifumi being dragged away by Robo Justice? If whoever was in that suit is not the culprit, how do you explain that? Besides, do you remember what the now deceased Hifumi said? So long as those facts exist, the proper conclusion is the individuals inside the suit and the culprit. Yeah, that's gotta be right.
Hold on a second.
It's still far too early to reach that conclusion. Besides, there's no hurry to decide who did it before we rush to a verdict. Shouldn't we explore every single possibility instead of seizing on one viewpoint? The truth is uncovered by analyzing things from every angle.
Perhaps, but where do we go from here?
Let's review this series of unfortunate events from the beginning. Maybe we'll uncover something new.
What a pain in the ass!
I don't disagree, but our lives are on the line. If this is what it takes, we have to do it.
Plus, maybe we'll get to find out where the heck Kyoko was when everything went down.
All right then, let's take another... I suppose we could start with this morning. 4 of us gathered together in the dining hall. Makoto, we waited there for quite a while, but nobody else. That was around 8 a.m.
And as soon as we split up, Kyoko went missing.
Soon after that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room and quickly came to get Makoto and me.
It seems I was unconscious for about an hour. I know it was an hour, because I remember being attacked a little after 7.
That was when we saw Celeste's picture and discovered that her assailant had been wearing a strange costume. As it turns out, it also soon became clear. We were soon joined in our search by Byakuya. He was injured, so we took him to the nurse's office. But not long after leaving the nurse's office,
When Celeste told us that, we decided, and soon after that,
I saw someone moving around on the 3rd floor, and I yelled out to everyone as soon as I did.
and then... At that point, we decided to divide up into 2 groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office, while Sakura, Byakuya, and Toko chased after the suspect. When we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi, and that's when we heard the body discovery announcement. I left Celeste and Hina there and headed back to the 3rd floor to let the others know what had happened.
meanwhile, we had just discovered Taka's body in the equipment room. We must have found both bodies at almost exactly the same time, because we heard the same announcement not long after we discovered his body.
And that's when I told you guys about Hifumi. Then the 3 of us headed for the nurse's office. But right after we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste, who'd arrived after us. And she We rushed back to the nurse's office and saw that she was right.
Then we remembered we'd left Coco passed out in the equipment room, so we... But when we got there, we discovered that now Taka's body had also gone missing. Next thing we knew, we were... And after some time...
Celeste informed us that she'd found the which is where we rediscovered the corpses.
I think that about covers it.
I see. It certainly seems to me that these are not a simple series of connected events.
Okay, well, if that's true, then what?
Rather than a single series of events, I think we have to consider each murder a separate situation, and from there, we can uncover the contradictions surrounding all of them. Now then, let's get started, beginning with what happened to Taka. Regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with justice. Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer 4.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
Shoot! So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer 4.
See? So... It's obvious Taka came after.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of...
obvious Taka came after. So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after? We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer, while Taka's death...
See? So it's obvious Taka came after. So, regarding, I wonder if, or perhaps it was after, we already know what order they were killed in. Shoot! So, regarding, I wonder... He died, or perhaps it was... We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers. Shoot! So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he, or perhaps it was after? We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say that?
Because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came...
See? So it's obvious Taka came after. So, I wonder if he died before perhaps it was after. We already know what order they were killed in.
No, wrong. Hold on. There's no reason to assume that the hammers were used in the same order as their numbers. If anything, that's just another way the killer tried to disguise their actions.
So you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order, but in reality, Taka was killed before Hifumi? Okay then, let's see the proof.
wristwatch. See? Look.
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer. Because... So if it wasn't broken after 6 last night...
And that would be his official time of death.
But if that's true, then he was killed well before Hifumi.
And before Celeste was attacked this morning, which happened around 7.
That's right. Taka was killed before any of the other incidents took place.
That simple fact slipped past all of us. We made the wrong assumption about the order of events, all because of those justice hammers.
That's exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer and had them increase in size. That way, when we saw how they were used in...
Now, if Taka was killed around 6, then everyone's alibis for his murder go out the window. Because when he was killed, we hadn't met up in the dining hall yet.
That may be true in the case of Taka's murder, but all of our alibis still hold true for Hifumi's death.
That's right. With him, at least, we're all safe. When we heard Hifumi screaming, then we all ran down to the nurse's office, and that's where we found his body.
Him screaming on a tape or something, then played it later on.
If that's true, where's the tape?
I don't know.
Don't just go making stuff up.
Anyway, we all have rock-solid alibis for when we heard Hifumi scream. Since all of us were there together, clearly none of us could have killed him.
And it does not stop there. There was also the moment when we discovered his body had disappeared. When his body vanished, Hina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else... And then, there's the disappearance of Taka's body from the equipment at that time. We were all gathered together in... Oh, don't forget! I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time!
Wait, then what if Genocide Jill did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there right...
Even if she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi's body. Because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment room when his body disappeared.
Besides, I didn't do either of them anyway. In other words, it is impossible that any of us could have killed Hifumi or moved either of their body. On the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared, so they most certainly could...
For now, we can't get fixated on who did it, or we'll just keep going around in circles. So instead of who, I propose we start talking about how. In particular, I think we need to figure out how Hifumi's body got moved.
That's true. We searched everywhere, but we couldn't figure out how to explain his body disappearing. And according to what Celeste said... his body apparently disappeared in the 1 minute her and Hina took their off. But to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the third?
Oh man, yeah! There's no way! It'd be impossible!
Well, what if I told you there was a way to make the impossible possible?
What?
If the dead body were to move itself.
The dead body moved on its own?
think it has anything to do with the occult. I think what she's implying, we thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality he was still alive.
Alive?
Are you saying Hifumi wasn't carried out of the nurse's office, but simply walked?
But I mean, we found his body. He was dead.
Perhaps he was simply playing dead.
That it isn't possible.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead. Without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to... signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first found Hifumi in the nurse's office, there's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first found there's a chance he was actually... still alive?
No, it is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Are we really so sure about that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Are you saying that when we first... There's a chance he was actually still alive?
No, Hifumi was dead.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found.
No, it's wrong. Was the body discovery announcement that was made really intended for Hifumi?
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his body.
Maybe. But that was also the same time that Taka's body was found.
That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the announcement.
So there's a good chance we've made a mistake in there somewhere. I think we've confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka.
First of all, if 2 bodies had been found, there really should have been 2 announcements.
Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy and rolled them together into one.
What do you say, Monokuma? Any comment?
Well, it's a very sensitive issue, but what I can say about the body is only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
That didn't answer our question, man. We're asking if you're a lazy bum.
No, actually, that was plenty. He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first time. Even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again. True, then why was the announcement...
Huh? Later on?
Exactly. We heard the... I refuse to give up yet! Was the body discovery announcement that was made really
Of course it was.
That's right.
So there, I think,
First of all,
Maybe.
what do you...
But it's...
I got it! We heard it a second time in the repository, when we rediscovered the 2 bodies. It didn't seem weird at the time.
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have played.
And in reality, when the 2 dead bodies were rediscovered, being discovered for the first time.
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually dead yet. Meaning, he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
And that's just part of it. There's one other thing that leads me to believe...
Oh, I know! Because he was super good at playing dead! Bada bing, bada boom! That is the worst logic I have... But honestly, I do not think...
Okay then, let's take another. Then it should become clear whether
This whole thing is pointless. Well, here's one thing we do know. The first time we found Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office. And then, while me and Celeste were in the bathroom, his body disappeared.
And the next time we saw his body, it was in the repository.
But when you compare his body before being moved and his body after being moved, other than the change in how it was positioned, there was no notable difference.
Then, was he really still alive?
Of course not. It is impossible. This is ridiculous. Well, here's one thing. The first time we found Hifumi and then, his body disappeared.
And the next time we saw it was in the repository.
But when you compare his body before being moved and his body after being moved, other than the change in how it was positioned, there was no notable difference.
No, wrong! In fact, there was one clear difference between Hifumi and the nurse's office: his glasses. That fact alone proves that he was only playing dead in the beginning.
Perhaps you'd like to fill the rest of us in?
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered with... But when we found him again later in the repository, they were spotless. And I found the items used to wipe them clean in the nurse's office. I got it! It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain cartoon mascot. One look at the bloodstain on the cloth should make things clear. This piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean. And the mascot on the cloth is the same one that's on the digital camera, right? And whose digital camera was it?
The character was Princess Piggle from Demon Angel Pretty Pudgy Princess, I think.
I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like this to school.
I see your point. And the only people here who...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
A few tissues is all I need to keep my glasses clean.
Then there's no question. It belonged to Hifumi.
So what you're saying is...
What I'm saying is, the blood on his glasses was wiped.
Even if that is true, it does not mean...
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses owner?
That's a good point.
And it must have been him.
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office. He pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet. And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible.
But then, if he was just pretending to be dead... What was with all that blood? Was it paint or something?
The fridge in the nurse's office contains packs of blood for emergency.
He figured if he was gonna play dead, he should go all out, so he just dumped it everywhere! But he got crazy with it and had to wipe his glasses.
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance, it should be perfectly obvious who...
I got it! It could only have been Hifumi.
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office,
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
The door was locked? Well, after the bodies Fumi and Sakura had... But when we got there...
And the repository door can only be locked from the inside, which means when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already inside.
and it could only have been Hifumi, who'd just finished stashing Taka's body there.
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository. So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
But that means he took part in the murders.
I just can't believe it. If you're having trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
There's more?
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact. You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The item he took off.
I got it! You're talking about the note Hifumi had hidden away, aren't you? That's right.
What? Pants?
Yes, his pants.
Okay, well, forget about the pants for now.
That's the note I was telling you. Huh? Wait, Monokuma can't find out, so...
Then this...
Not the same?
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro. And that person could only have been... I got it! That's right! Taka! The killer used this note to draw out Taka.
Hello? Over here! Objection! Objection! I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter right, so whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Honey! Just to be clear. Ugh! Yes! Why must you ruin it every... Right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Honey!
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m., I believe.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok! Honey had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Honey!
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
No, that's wrong! No! They're
What the hell are you talking about?
The note said to meet at 6. You've already proven that, but there's more. Look where the note says to meet, the equipment room.
Which is where Taka was killed. I see.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time. I think that should be plenty to show that.
No further objections!
Then someone used that note to trick Taka. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster, telling people they found a way out.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it? Stuffed down his pants, no less!
Most likely, Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Where's your proof? Go ahead.
when I searched Taka's body, if I'm right about this, I knew it! It fits
Then Taka...
Yup.
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka. There's only one
Taka died clutching the note, leaving behind only... Did I get all that right?
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly. Which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Whoa. Yeah. After seeing all this, in fact, he was behind the whole thing! In fact, he's still alive!
Sorry, no. When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery announcement proved...
So then...
Whoever did is the mastermind.
He was killed in the repository. So he must have been killed.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished. But before we found both bodies...
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for... In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Wait! But me and Sakura were together. Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus! Who are you calling a walrus?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi.
The weapon?
Yeah. Because, I mean, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office, and if Hifumi was killed, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill, then put the hammer backward. But wouldn't that be...
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull.
Hell yeah! It's packed in there good and...
He's right, though. The Monokuma file makes... But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
So the question is, how could the cult... Personally, I haven't... So which hammer was used to...
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill...
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right?
So then... What was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer 3? Maybe Justice Hammer 4?
Well, whatever it was, there's one thing we have to figure out. How was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it? Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance! Check out murdergear.com/hammertime for more info!
Well, one thing seems pretty clear. The murder weapon had to be one of the Justice Hammers! And, that's about it.
What was used to kill Hifumi?
Was it maybe Justice? Well, there's one. How was the culprit? How did nobody... Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5! Check out murdergear.com/hammertime!
Well, one thing seems pretty clear. The murder weapon had to be one of the...
No, it's wrong! The murder weapon wasn't a Justice Hammer at all. No.
But, seriously? A different weapon?
Specifically, a hammer from the... Now, all the hammers in the... But for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean. And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit... If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, Of course they'd have to clean it off. I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones, and even some flat mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to...
Whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one... Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with it. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not? Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in them, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate, and assuming the rule holds true.
No, it's wrong! Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward that...
Risk versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to each. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime, and based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime. Just by creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like
the mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan.
That's just awful! How could anyone be so cruel?
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems...
How an accomplice could be involved. But then, who was the...
That's problem numero uno, right?
innocent. It was Celeste.
So I'm the suspicious individual now, am I? I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke? I want...
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him, that I would go within 10 feet of that shit from brains, that lazy, worthless, goddamn idiot! Pardonnez-moi.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
The behavior they had in common has to do with the only ones who ever actually saw Robo Justice first.
Shush! The adults are talking now.
Sorry.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, and not too long after that, we headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed next to draw us all to the...
She let out a blood-curdling...
And when we'd all come to see what... Once she'd done her job of getting, it was time for her partner to get to work.
It was to get us to divide into two groups.
In fact, Celeste was precise. Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly... And on top of that, That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the third floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
I just realized another strange thing. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who... Celeste, you were the first one to say you wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our mind.
I don't believe it. Everything, the whole thing was one big act.
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kinda sick, so... Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed. Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't bother trying to deny you made one fatal mistake.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing. I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the...
were saying that too, but...
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body, and then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed. So Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the entire time we were to think about it. Celeste's comment does...
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's... If you're really not the culprit, you...
All I said was, we must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positive. We're elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it, what was so strange about Celeste's comment?
All I said was, they must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it, what was so strange about Celeste's comment?
All I said was, they must really enjoying the sight of us. They must be positive. We are all going to die here. We are going to die.
Just like those guys. No, wrong. That's right. There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys. When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And we didn't... There was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the...
So how did you know so? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys? Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she...
You all have such vivid imaginations. You know that?
Imaginations?
You claim that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious... Then what about the picture I took? How do you explain this picture of the costumed villain dragging Hifumi away?
It has to be some kind of setup, right? So let's put the suit on, and then she used the camera's timer to...
Have you so quickly forgotten? You are the only one who could have... Just, I happen to know that this particular camera does... In other words, it is an unassailable fact if everything I told you was a lie. Simple.
Are we sure that...
What could you possibly...
Surely there are other...
No, there isn't...
It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away. say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility. The one being dragged off in that picture, we've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around. And the strange costume might only exist to lead us if you saw someone wearing something like that in this...
That's what happened! You put me...
Such is utterly impossible. Hifumi was dragging you,
Is it? I don't...
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
Dressed me up in that suit after I passed out. Then you just dragged me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight. You tried to make me look like the bad guy.
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that. Then the fortune-telling idiot is the culprit after all!
No way! You dressed me up in that suit after I passed... Ow! Then you just dragged me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight. You tried to make me look like a bad guy!
Like I said, as you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing if the person inside the suit was unconscious. There's no way they could stand up straight.
No, that's wrong! No. Even if the person inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that, because that Robo-Justice suit...
I'm not so... I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially... That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever...
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Don't make me laugh, you idiot! What do you mean, check? Celeste? Clearly! You want to cram me into your little guilty box? Well, there's one little problem. Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying? When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not? He said, and I quote, Yasuhiro. In other words, Yasuhiro Hatakura!
Wait! But my name isn't really Yasuhiro! It's actually... Taro!
Your confusing statements don't make any sense. You're only making things more complicated.
He did say Yasuhiro, but our...
What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us. How did he refer to each of us?
That's right! Our last names! He called us all by our last names!
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi, so if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his...
I'm sure it was just... incidental. Indecent?
Don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation? No, there's no reason to, but he must have run out of energy.
So Hifumi was trying to tell...
But the name he said doesn't...
Well, no. And that's Celeste. She never actually told us...
What? To think you'd take your false accusation so far? Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather. Yasuhiro is a loser's name. Do I look like a loser to you? Well, do I? What? I think I've earned...
Okay, then Phyllis...
Make sure my woman is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat my...
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
If there's one person here who might have that last name...
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone...
How many times do I have to tell me? Celestia Ludenberg! God damn it!
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since you have no way to contradict me, that's the only truth there is! Moron! Hifumi was trying. He wanted us to know the killer glass. If there's one person here who
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told it.
How many times were Celeste, you loaded wrong God!
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And Kate,
You have no way to contradict me. No, that's wrong. That's it. The handbook.
what?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up. Monokuma told us all. So all we have to do is check. That's how we can find. Celeste, can you please just tell us, please?
Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up. Because until the game's over, you...
Fine then. Let me settle it. Let me go over the case again, from the beginning, and that'll bring everything to an end. You! Before anything, the killer persuaded someone to help carry out the murder. Hifumi, with an accomplice. First, they convinced someone to meet them in the rec room last night at 1 in the morning. That someone they met with, the murderous duo intended to pass They drugged him. Next, Hifumi positioned while the killer used a digital camera that they did all this just to creep. When they were done with him, they shoved him. And then finally, at 6 a.m., they moved into the murder phase of their plan. They called Taka to the equipment room. And that's where Hifumi killed him, making it the scene of the first murder. The murder weapon was Justice Hammer 4. Which was the reason hammer number 4 was used, was to create confusion. So, for these attacks, the first fake incident there, the killers, they wanted to make sure we bought. The second fake incident was this time, they planted justice with these two incidents. That the suspect was increasing, he fell right into their While we did that, this was exactly what... He took a blood packet from the refrigerator and Justice Hammer 3 and turned the room into a crime scene. He let out a scream to draw us back, and when we returned, that's what we found. Meanwhile, the other group that had been out searching, so when we heard the body discovery announcement, we left the nurse's office, and Hifumi once again simply got up when we learned his body had disappeared, and once again, Hifumi had the chance. He left Taka's body in a tarp. That explains how... But even Hifumi didn't know what the true... Their plan all along was to, and they did it using an ordinary, that should cover everything that... Celeste! Sorry, you lose.
When was the last time I was forced to utter such words? They hang heavy around my neck.
Then you admit it? You're the killer.
Listen to you, trying to take charge, as if you're my private instructor. I, Celestia Ludenberg. Actually, no, Taiko Yasuhiro is fine.
So, you finally accepted it.
I'm the kind of person, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag.
Interesting.
Okay, Monokuma. I'm ready to begin. Or, no, I suppose this is the end.
It is indeed the moment we've all been waiting for. If you would, please look, and when the votes are tallied, will you make...
Honestly.
I knew it. So then.
Indeed.
Say what?
Just a second. In other words,
Indeed.
I see.
Actually,
What?
are you okay with this? So then,
Damnation! Say what?
as for me, as for me,
What? Damnation! Say what? Completely unfortunate.
most unfortunate. Actually,
What? Let go!
indeed. Honestly,
I swear I will save her!
actually,
I see.
indeed.
But...
Let's see. Are you okay?
So in the end...
What the heck? Well...
Don't be mean!
I wonder about that. Why? What the heck?
But...
You little bitch! Hey! You little bitch! This is fine. Honestly. As for me, isn't it wonderful? This is fine. There is nothing to be done. Just the worst. Oh. Do you understand? What is this? Yes, indeed. Isn't it wonderful?
Hey.
Chills! Kills! Now then, I've prepared a very special punishment. Let's give it everything we've got. It's punishment time!
I guess I'll let Kyoko hold on to this. What? Will it really give you the hope you're looking for? I can't say Which is why... Actually... Well then... Perhaps we'll meet again.
What are you gonna do?
Let me out of here!
Too bad. How strange. Hey! What?
So then, you...
Ooh.
Hey,
Ooh. How exciting. Hello. Well? See ya.
so...
Huh?
Hey,
Indeed. Hey,
What?
so...
Come on. What? Goodbye.
well then.
Yo!
Okay.
Shall we... So then...
You really
However... What? Indeed. What? It's true. That's fine. Correct.
Why, I asked you a question. What's the meaning of this? How dare you defy me? This wasn't part of the deal!
I've made a decision. I will no longer retreat. No longer compromise. No longer regret. I've made my decision. I'm going to resist.
But you do realize what will happen if you haven't forgotten, have you, what I'm holding hostage?